relative to the Portage County Detention Center, just as an awareness thing again, I had a conversation with our prosecuting attorney's office relative to the question that I asked when Kim Laurie came in last week and made the presentation. According, keeping in mind that if you ask five attorneys their opinion, you're going to get 5 different opinions. But in her case, the opinion was we can legally establish a contract with other counties for to put people into our detention center. They would have a choice whether or not they would take advantage of that. So that's their choice. I mean, they get to choose where to place kids. That's their role in Ohio. They're all Ohio law. And they would have the choice within the constraints of that contract. If our contract was structured similar to what we have as in the jail, then we would have full control over the types and varieties of kids based on various offenses. I don't understand all that, but based on their offenses and whatever the criteria was established. In that case, Judges Berger and Grindell would help us to set the criteria, so they would be involved in any case. So there is a possibility. Now, with that said, that doesn't mean that we're going to do something. It just means that we've established, or at least I've established, and I would encourage you to talk to Laura and or have her come in so we can have a further discussion about this. But it sounds like there is a possibility. Whether or not we execute on that possibility is open for discussion.
So if I can restate what you just said to make sure I understand. What I heard Ms. Laurie expressing last week is that if you open the Portage Center to use by other, let's say Cuyahoga County or Mahoney County, that the judge in those counties would make the assignment, but if we set up in the contract the criteria that says this contract is for juveniles that have committed no greater than such and such an offense, then that would limit the judge from being able to send to our shared facility juveniles that might have committed higher level offenses and might pose a risk to the other.
Yeah, the beds in our juvenile detention center would be available based on the criteria we establish, and Judge Berger and Judge Grindell. And I plan on talking to Judge Grindell about this because I want to find out his take on it and why he would have an issue with that should we be able to do that.
Right.
If that were in fact true, and get his opinion on that. But based on the opinion that I heard from Laura, and she's willing to discuss all that with us, there is a possibility. So, set aside whether we decide to execute on that or not execute on it. You make decisions best on an informed basis. And so I'm trying to get informed in terms of what are our options here. We have a facility that we could better utilize possibly. It might take a little work, might take a little angst, some gnashing of teeth. These things never are clean, easy, without some fuss and tussle a little bit. But anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up and tell you that I did have a conversation both with her. I talked to the sheriff. I plan on reaching out to Judge Grindell and talking to him about his issues with this. If it's purely, if he sees the law differently, that's one thing. If he sees the law the same, but he doesn't want to do it for whatever his reasons are, I want to understand what that is. So I only bring that up for, again, for an awareness thing on the board. We need to make it, from my perspective, informed decisions. And based on the best information I've gotten so far, there is a possibility we chose to execute. And we can bring that up during the board meeting when we're talking to these guys if we want to do a little bit more homework. And just say, hey, look, guys, let's not just reject this out of hand. If there's possibilities, what's the harm in exploring them? I mean, there's no harm in exploring them. We're talking to them, we're asking questions. So people get they're nipping in a bunch sometimes when you ask questions. And
I think that, if I could just have 2 seconds, my position on it is this, is that we're one board, or one board of commissioners that have to deal with Portage commissioners, and I think that they've stated their position pretty much clear as whatever the judges told them to do is what they're going to do as far as, to have an open mind of options. I think that they stated it in their letter pretty clear, that I think that not only is it an issue that we would be trying to convince, the judges or the board of the juvenile detention facility, and it just, I think that after last weekend, pretty much it was this is what direction that we're going to push and the direction we're going to go. And I think that you just got to pick your battles. I think I think that this is something that I kind of pretty much started, and it makes sense. But I think that you know, just like this, I'm sure that there's probably a juvenile court employee that's waiting for Dave to refresh the YouTube video, so that we'll be getting another letter this afternoon. So if you want to go down that road and do that, you know, have at it. But as far as for myself, it comes down to is that there's no point in even wasting this. I think that it raised awareness when I believe that the board that day put together some kind of even a bylaw at their meeting for accepting, you know, other inmates. So pretty much the writing is on the wall. You've got, you know, 2 judges that don't want to, that are in agreement that they don't want to see this. You've got the other board of commissioners from Portage that don't want to see it. And you know, sometimes what makes sense isn't always the route to go. And unfortunately, so it just financially it would make a good decision. And maybe there's some points that they brought up. I'm not 100% convinced, but I don't really feel like I want to fight this battle anymore.
Well, and to that comment, I don't know that I'm not wanting to fight this. I think there's some misinformation a little bit. On the Portage County side, I think they haven't wanted to go out and do a little homework on this, and if it's a little bit of work for the taxpayers, I mean, the taxpayers are floating the boat here. And so respecting the taxpayers in this situation, and given the amount of money we're talking about, it's worth a little bit of work, maybe a little bit of working at it, because these things are never easy. There is nothing we can do when the system doesn't want to change. It's been wired in a certain way. Sometimes you do need to pick a battle, and not that I want to pick a battle in a situation, I don't, but I want to at least make a good decision based on good information. And then, okay, so if the judges decide we don't want to do this, yeah, we can, but we don't want to. Okay, well then, that'll be what it is. But if we raise this up and get good information on the table, and we make the best decision we can, then we've done our job. And let everybody else.
I think we've done that.
And so let everybody else.
I think we've done that. I think that the road we're going down now is an administrative process of what legally we can and can't do. I think from the beginning we've been under the feeling that this would make sense and it was something that we could possibly do, but we're just getting too much push on both sides, and something that's it's a situation that unfortunately we are in a situation. I guess I could say it's unfortunate and it's fortunate. The fortunate part is we live in a county that does not have a surge of juvenile delinquency that is putting us in a position of a lot of housing. Mm-hmm. So that's fortunate. Unfortunately, what we're paying for the housing, because we are required by law to have it, is at a max premium. So that's just the way that it goes, and I just think that we're spinning our wheels.
Okay.
So,
well, I'm going to spend a little bit of my time and just to see what more I can learn, and if it would be if there's a little spark of hope in there. If there's not, then I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to certainly in the wind and force anything. I don't want any battles over it. I don't want any fights over it.
Right. I mean, it's not even a matter of battles. It's just, to be quite honest with you, I get tired reading letters.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I guess, I'm not trying to say that to be comical. I'm just giving you maybe it's a little sarcasm in it, but it is what it is.
Okay, good.